Greetings and welcome back to Switch2Linux. It looks like the kitty ran off on us, so we'll just kind of get started earlier, I guess. Anyway, welcome back. We are here on a DistroWars Wednesday. Excuse me. Apparently the Kung Flu is tickling my nose. Hold on. Okay, never mind. It's gone away. All right. Well, anyway, how is everybody doing today? We got a couple folks up here in the house. We got 28 folks watching already, just like 1 minute in. Very cool. Well, greetings, everybody. You guys like the little lights I put back there? I think I have a green one as well. I just threw that up like 3 minutes ago. I keep on forgetting I wanted to put that up there. Get a little bit of color in the background. So I don't know. I might do the green one across the top and the red one across the bottom like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, but anyway, let me know if you guys like that. It'll look cool when I have both lights up there, I guess. Let's see. Robin is waiting. Mark, Linux Cinnamon versus Manjaro Cinnamon would be great. That does sound pretty fun. Where's my little black book with my poems in? Unless I've already done that. I don't know if I have or not. Let's see. I haven't done that I know of. So we'll do Linux Mint versus Manjaro Cinnamon. All right. Okay, let's see. So LibreQuest asks, is there really anything different between the Ubuntu distros? Actually, there is a little bit, which is, we're going to spend a little bit more time chatting about that today, so I'm not going to answer it right here in the comment part, but that should hopefully get answered by the end of the show here. All right, I feel like Bobby Vinton right now. Uh-oh. Yeah, I think some people will jump in, depending on when you jumped in. Like I said, I just turned on the comment feed like a minute and a half before start because I was getting those lights hung up there. So, why does everybody hate Ubuntu, though? Not everybody does, but they are certainly split down throughout the community. Some of the community really likes Ubuntu. Some of the community really doesn't. So a lot of what that has to do with is how they are implementing Snap and corporate influence. Some people will look at Ubuntu and say the best it can possibly work is the best we should ever possibly do. And if that is your philosophy, then you love a lot of what they're doing. If you are switching to Linux because you are really interested in free and open source software because you are concerned with proprietary blobs running in the background, then Ubuntu does have a lot of that in there, particularly since 2004, which is yet to come out. The entire application, the GUI software store, is all Snap on the front end. And so that means that you're getting a lot more proprietary distributed software versus free and open source software. And that actually causes a lot of people some concern. So that's why you have such a split in opinion over Ubuntu. Let's see. Just enjoy hating things, really. I don't think it has a lot to do with that. I think it has a lot to do with your philosophy on Linux. Let's see. A couple of you guys both hate Windows. All right. Yeah. Three-way. High five it. All right. Prefer Ubuntu over Windows 10. I would too if I had to run either Ubuntu or Windows 10. Please let me change my desktop environment, please, because I do hate GNOME. But we'll get there. Anyway, let's see. Okay, waiting for the stream so much. Yeah, they start 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we start. All right, still waiting on PopOS 2004. All right, prefer my computer to catch fire than Windows. Yeah. Why does Windows force you to update? To make it more normie secure, or to just break stuff, or to get you so used to constant updates so you don't see it when they slip the malware in there. It's like Bill Gates is trying to slip weird... Never mind, I'm not going to go there. This is a Linux stream. We'll save that for Friday, maybe. All right. Anyway, if PC burns, so does your house. There you go. Require total subjugation. Greetings, Moonbase Alpha Grays. How's it going there? I hope you are doing well up there on the Moonbase. Any Apple haters in here? I hate Apple's UI, much like I hate GNOME's UI. But I do have a couple Apple computers flowing around. The funny thing is I actually don't have hardware-based Windows 10 computers laying around, but I do have 2 Apple computers laying around. So, you know. Okay. Never have money to buy Apple products. All my Apple products were used or sent to me. It's like a truck owner hating Hot Wheels. Not fair in comparison. There you go. Okay. All right. Let's see. iPhone 11 Pro has only 2 real cameras. Let's see. Heard of Linux users going back to Windows and Apple, though. There's some that do. There's some that don't take the time to learn. Some people, the workflow they have to have, or some applications they have to know, just is not compatible with Linux. And, you know, and I'm not talking about like, oh, I can't use Photoshop. You know, if you're working for a big company that absolutely requires Photoshop with no wiggle room, you're going to be on Windows or Mac. But if you're like an independent guy like me, and I promise you, I get just as much real stuff done on GIMP than I do on Photoshop, and I know I'm proficient in both of them. You know, if you're an independent person, you're got caught up over needing to use Photoshop. You don't need to use Photoshop. You're an independent person. You can make your own choices. Okay, you can learn to do your work in GIMP instead, and not be succumb to the subscription model of Adobe and be paying them monthly for the rest of your life. It's like, I don't know, is that serfdom or whoredom? I'm not sure which. But I choose not to participate. Let's see. Wow, we have a ton of comments coming here, guys. I may have to jump into the content. Let's see, what's our time? All right, when my stream time hits 10 minutes, which is 2 minutes from now, I'm going to pause and we're going to go into the show, and then I will catch up to comments after that. So I will try and get caught up on comments if I can. Joshua Lynn, how's it going there? Heard a lot of comments from people who just don't understand Linux and or think that Linux is just for servers. Yeah, there's some people that still think that. Isn't Arch hard to install? So if you want to use Arch, or you need to use Arch, and you don't want to go through the difficulty of installing it, use one of the installers. Arco Linux, Arch Labs, even Manjaro is going to get you close enough to Arch. I've been running Arch Labs on my media PC for a year and a half now, and I love it. It's Arch. It's basically pure Arch with a very easy to use installer, and I have tutorials on that, so you can find those. Just made it. Well, welcome, Necromancer. How's it going there? All right. Just a GUI installer. Let's see. Okay, Arch isn't that difficult to install. Yeah, it's not super difficult to install. So, search Calamars installer for Arch. Dang, looks legit. All right, Anarchy Linux for the win. All right. Okay, just wondering, still not too far away. Let's see. Greetings, everybody. The war is already over. We all know that Mint has won. Hey, you know, we might surprise you. I don't know. Don't place money on it, but you know. There's also Snap, Flatpak, not Snap. Mint is fundamentally against Snap. They have ripped everything Snap out of it, and they do have Flatpaks. Hello, Greece. Greetings. Linux Mint looks too much like Windows to you. That's exactly why I like it so much, because I have tried every different desktop environment I could looking for the optimal workflow, and the traditional Windows workflow is what is optimal for me. That's why I love Linux Mint. Hello, Sleepy. Greetings. Just quick hello. Can't stay long. Gotta head into work. All right, man. Well, good luck with your work, man. Stay safe out there in the crazy land. Let's see. I'm an absolute newbie to Linux. Install Linux Cinnamon. Any tips for moving forward? One of the first steps, I have a couple of videos about optimizing and getting the most out of your Linux Mint installs, or your Cinnamon installs, really. So that's really the good place to go. All right, I'm going to leave my comment there. Hopefully I can find again when we are done. We have passed that 10-minute mark, so let's go ahead and dive on into the content, and then we will hang out until we run dry in comments, or probably 8:15 shows up, whichever comes first. Gotta find my web browser view. Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we want to come back to DistroWars, looking at PopOS versus Linux Mint, two Ubuntu-based distributions which have both done a lot of fabulous things behind the scenes. Now, these are not your fly-by-nighters. It's basically Ubuntu with a different theme or a couple applications installed. These are distributions who have taken Ubuntu, as good as it is, and made some type of modifications for some type of purposes, and then given us a community around them by which to excel in their operating systems. And which one of these should you use? I would say that there's going to be a lot of factors here. From the get-go, just throwing all my cards on the table, if you follow my channel, I use Linux Mint Cinnamon in most of my production stuff. It is absolutely hands down my favorite Linux distribution, and I love the fact that they have a life beyond Ubuntu should it come to that plan in place that I don't think Pop has. Which is a valid argument with some of the criticisms of Ubuntu, which some people look at what Ubuntu is doing and are deeply concerned, and some people say, hey, this is great, it helps everything work better. Which way is the best way to go? And these are, I think, more of up to a philosophical debate, a philosophical discussion. So we don't want to address that. But what I do want to do is I want to do just a little bit about talking about what's different and what's the same between these two distributions. And then we're going to have a little bit of a look at them. Now, we might spend a little bit less time in the distribution themselves and a little bit more time on their websites today, simply because I want to show you guys that these are not just skinned Ubuntus. Some people look at that as an option. So first I'm going to look at PopOS's website. Now, we need to understand PopOS didn't just come from just having its own distribution. It was actually created to streamline work with the System76 company, which has some, to my understanding, some excellent Linux computers. So you can order a Linux computer from them out of the box. The default is they run PopOS. However, you can actually ask them to put another Linux distribution on the system as well. So PopOS is based on Ubuntu, and it runs a more closer to a vanilla GNOME with a modern flat material theme. And some people just look at that and say, well, it's just Ubuntu with vanilla GNOME. Well, it's really not. They've done a lot of things under the hood to really improve upon some of the things, particularly adding some things back in that Ubuntu has taken out, like 32-bit repositories by default so you can do gaming better. Now, I'm not a gamer, but I understand enough about this to know that some of the more modern versions of Ubuntu have a little bit harder time running some games because some of the 32-bit libraries, while are available, are not pre-installed. Well, PopOS makes it, I believe those are actually pre-installed. Again, I'm not a gamer, so I haven't set these up very frequently. However, I will tell you this. I actually do have a few video games I do like to play, and not a lot of them. And one of them was a Steam-based game that I could not get working well. Which one is it? I think I could not get that working well under Linux Mint. So I actually have a hard drive which dual boots Linux Mint and PopOS. Go figure, right? Because Steam works way better with PopOS, but Wine works better with Mint, or is it vice versa? I can't even remember. I need to boot into one of them to play Wine games and one of them to play Steam games. For whatever reason, how things work. And even the Linux Mint, I had to do a lot more steps to get it game ready than PopOS. Although people who do play video games on Linux will tell you, half of the people will tell me PopOS is the best, half of the people will tell me Linux Mint is the best. So I don't really know because I'm not a huge gamer. But one of the things that PopOS has done is added a lot of those functions in. The other thing that they have done is the Intel management engine, which has caused some people some concern. PopOS is, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, but to my knowledge is the only distribution that handles that out of the box. They've actually gone through and done this. They've added firmware support into their system, so the firmware drivers can be automatically updated in the background. I'm not a huge fan of background updates, but that is certainly something that is there. And I'm guessing you can probably turn that off automatically, do it manually, but I don't know for sure. We do have a 1910 based on the more rolling Ubuntu, which isn't really rolling. It's like the incremental distribution changes, or you have an LTS. So when you are going to download PopOS, you have the option to grab the Intel AMD or to grab an NVIDIA version. So if you are running a computer with NVIDIA, you want to download this guy, it's going to work better with NVIDIA out of the box. Versus AMD Intel, you grab that one there. All right. So you do have the options between the Ubuntu point releases or the Ubuntu LTS, NVIDIA or non-NVIDIA. Now, the question people always ask them, isn't it just an Ubuntu with a theme? They actually have a post on their website to address this. So it's built from Ubuntu repositories, and you have, like we just said, you have either the 6-month releases or the LTS. This is the common question: is it just a reskinned Ubuntu? And it is built with vibrant covers, they say, but to say it's a reskinned Ubuntu brushes over the features and the quality of life improvements that the Pop developers work diligently to create. For an in-depth look at the manpower that goes into it, have a look at the roadmap documentation, This Week in Pop and Pop Planet. Below, you will find a general list of improvements to make PopOS stand out. So, again, some of the things that they're talking about, you can either grab the NVIDIA or the non-NVIDIA. The privacy, Pop does not have the data collection type stuff that was put into Ubuntu in recent years. Although they will say, if you read through this, it will do a temporary probing of the system for the purpose of checking which devices might need booted. Now, PopOS we're going to go back to Ubuntu PopOS versus Linux Mint here. They actually give you like a recovery partition, just like your Windows system does and an Apple system does. And you also have an OEM install, which is something Linux Mint does not have. So an OEM install is when your installation process, you don't set up any of your user account until you boot into the system. So the reason you do this is it makes it very easy if you are selling a computer for somebody, maybe you're working in IT and you're converting people over to Linux. The OEM install is excellent because you can install the system, shut it down, and then when your client first boots up the system, then all the account creation, geolocation, all that kind of stuff is configured at that point. Definitely a better structure because Linux Mint assumes that you're downloading it to install yourself. PopOS assumes that you are installing this for somebody else because it's built for a Linux computer company that sells real hardware. You can do a refresh install, a custom install, clean install. There are several desktop support items inside of here. They have chosen some better default applications. We're going to look at those. They do have some extra tools that are third party, making it easy to enable Linux gaming, which I think Ubuntu is making a little bit more hard, but you can still make it work. There's some custom shortcuts, faster EFI booting, Power Daemon, Firmware Manager is a new tool. Let's see, a multi-USB flasher. That's a feature I use in Linux Mint a lot. Do not disturb. That's been added to GNOME, so we'll not worry about that one. And just a few other little odds and ends. So PopOS is quite a bit different. Now, on to Linux Mint. Linux Mint's job is to have the best, most streamlined computer experience for somebody switching to Linux. We have the 19.3 presently, which is the Ubuntu-based version based on the 1804 LTS, and we also have a Linux Mint Debian edition, which is based on Debian. And so here, if you do not like Ubuntu, but you still want a very good-to-use system, these two distributions are becoming so close to one another, it's very difficult to tell which is which. In fact, what's hilarious is I believe that Linux Mint Debian Edition actually has a newer version of LibreOffice. But you can actually come down here. You can grab a 32 and 64 64-bit for now, although that's probably going to go away in the next version because the next version of the Ubuntu LTS has dropped 32-bit support. We do have Cinnamon, Mate, and XFCE, giving you a variety of desktop options, albeit they all look fairly the same. Linux Mint Debian Edition only has the Cinnamon version right now. Linux Mint has done a lot. They are like PopOS. They are completely privacy-centric. They do not collect statistics of how many people are installing it. They basically say we don't care. There is nothing in there about tracking or anything else like that, although their new versions do have a system report where if you choose to, for diagnosis, there is an easy button to send system information, but it's an entirely manual process to when you are getting help for some issue. All right. Now, the other thing is Linux Mint does not like snap packages because of the proprietary base and distribution system. So they have stripped snap packages out. They have replaced that with Flatpaks instead, which has a few more options to get them from. The unfortunate thing is they are so integrated into the system that you cannot remove the Flatpak support or it will kill the system. But in all fairness, if you try and remove snap from Ubuntu, it does much the same in the modern iterations. Okay, so that is our two distributions. So with that, what we're going to do is let's have a look at these guys. And since we are looking at PopOS first, let's go ahead and boot on into Pop. Come on, Pop, come on, Pop, come on, Pop. Pop's walking like an old man. Hopefully it boots. I was having some issues with PopOS earlier. All right, so here we have landed on the login screen for PopOS. So it's not the most glorious thing in the history of the world, but it is definitely functional. Just click on your username there and enter your password, and you will find yourself on your desktop. So here we are unleashing our potential with PopOS. So you can see it's just a basic, basic GNOME desktop. We do have some folder support, so that's actually good. I love me using my desktops, although the folder icon in the background is pretty ugly, but hey, that's easy enough if you change your desktop background. Let's have a look at what other desktop backgrounds they ship us with PopOS. We got this guy here. Look at that guy. All right, let's see. Go with that one there. So this is an older version of GNOME. I can tell because it's giving the option to use the login screen. Let's see. Let's try this one here. All right, so we'll just go with one of these, or let's do this one here. Let's go ahead and set this one. All right. So there we are. We got a nice new desktop background there. So now we can actually see what our folders are. All right, so inside of here, let's have a look at what we have. Most of what we're going to see here is going to be fairly similar. Actually, let's go back into the details here. So we are running GNOME 3.34. Definitely not old, but it's certainly not the newest version. I could spot that from how you select your wallpapers there. Now, this is where we have added a new tool down here for firmware. So any firmware that you have that might need updates, you have the option inside of firmware. That's a new tool that you will not find in other versions of GNOME. We do have, they also, I believe, have, I can't remember where this one is. I forgot to look for where it is. But they do have a theming option in here as well. Is it? Okay, there we go. So we have under our appearances. So this is something people have asked for, that either a light theme or a dark theme without having to install tweak tools in order to do. So that is another feature that you will find inside of PopOS. As far as applications we have out of the box, it is fairly streamlined down. We have calculator, calendar, contacts, files, web browser, Geary. We have a terminal, settings. We have a shop, LibreOffice, system tools. Here's your basic tools there. And let's see. And under utilities, there's a USB flasher, so that's a nice utility. As far as their store, they do have their own custom pop store, which a lot of people do really like. You can go, the basic default. This is what is installed, so any updates will appear on this list over here. The system will give you promptings for any system updates, and you can come down here and pick out the various things that you might want to install. All right, so if I wanted to install Thunderbird, I can go ahead and install it there. I did forget to double check. I can't remember if PopOS likes snaps by default. So, hey, it does not have any snaps installed by default, so that's another plus for me. As far as Flatpak support, I do not remember. These are a couple little things I forgot to look up specifically. But the store is nice. It's easy. It's a modern store. It's a custom store. Here's your repositories. We can check updates. You can do important security updates, recommended updates, or unsupported updates. Any extra sources will appear over here. So we have the PopOS items here. So they're giving us the Ubuntu, curated Ubuntus from their own System 76 sections, and also their proprietary repos there as well. So that's what we have inside of our system. So there's PopOS. Your biggest disadvantage is if you're unfamiliar with how the GNOME desktop works and you're not necessarily a huge fan of wanting to learn something new, it is going to be a little bit of a culture shock getting used to how it works. But I will say that after spending the time, if you are going to use GNOME, definitely take the time to learn how to use it. When I force myself to do that, I very much understand why it works and how to work it well. It just, like I said, doesn't jive with my specific workflow, so I actually prefer to use other desktops itself. But from a standpoint of somebody who has used a lot of the different desktop environments, it is good. I'm not going to sit here and say it sucks. Although I do hate Nautilus. It is probably my least favorite window manager. But nevertheless, it is a very good system out of the box. This one here is going to be very smooth, very stable. Now, I will give you this brief caveat. When I installed this today, this is actually the third time I installed it, there was an update that kept breaking the system. And that's a little bit of a concern. Maybe it was a temporary thing. Maybe it was the fact on a virtual machine. I'm not sure what it is, but I first ran the updates in the terminal, which usually never breaks, but it seemed to freeze. And then I ran it through the GUI. It also seemed to freeze. I ended up fixing it by going into booting as a recovery kernel and then running our corrections on our D package, updating from there, and then it actually seemed to work. That's actually something we didn't do, though. Let's go back up into the settings before we leave. Well, let's just go into the terminal. Let's see what our kernel happens to be. So we're running 5.3 kernel, and I did run all of the updates before the show today. All right, so there is PopOS. Let's come on back into Linux Mint next. All right, so here we are on Linux Mint. Let me enter my super secret password. I do like the login screen for Mint quite a bit better. Also, Farron OS, thank you for the brief update. Yes, Linux Mint does now have an OEM install. When you first boot the live CD for Linux Mint, then there's a series of options. That's actually something I didn't mention on the download. A single download, it has the installation for AMD Intel and an option for the NVIDIA, and it does have the OEM. Thank you for that correction. I did forget about that. That is a new feature in Linux Mint. Also, Linux Mint Live Key, if you are running Linux Mint, keep a copy of the Live Key laying around on USB because they do now have resources on that to fix a system if your computer fails to boot. The Live Key for Linux Mint can actually help you fix your system as well. All right, so once we've landed here, your first time booting, you will have a nice welcome screen. And in your welcome screen, you have the options to set up system snapshots, driver managers, and things. Now, on the OEM install portion of PopOS, you do get a very similar thing to this, where it will walk you through some of these steps as well. We have documentation, help, contribute, and I'll go ahead and turn this option off so I don't see that. I have already run my updates. I do like that we have an always present little notification down here if the system is up to date or not. So we do actually have that function there as well. And inside of here, we also have the ability to change our Linux kernel directly from the installer. So we are running, you can see we are running the same Linux kernel, 5.3. And you actually can go through and select different kernels in the event you're running hardware, where some people were having issues with the 5.3 kernel on their hardware. So you could easily roll back to something. You may not want to roll back to an end of life, but 4.15 is an LTS supported for a long, long time. I think that's actually what I'm running on my main system. So 5.3 is giving you some problems. You could actually roll back your kernel automatically here. And if your updates are going to appear over here, and you'll be able to see what they are and select them and deselect them quite a bit easier than you can inside of PopOS. Now, like I said, I like the more traditional, more Windowsy-like layout. It's just a matter of personal preference, and after a lot of experimenting around with different desktop environments, I actually find that this system is way more efficient. However, I still have to set it up in more of a traditional sense where I'm going to see everything that's open down. I want to see the giant task list filling up the bar. There's no reason to have this big bar here if it remains empty because all of the applications are closed like this. And so for me, I like the more traditional layout, although the more modern UI is a little bit better. So I just modify this to behave as the older type of system. The applications that we have in default here, we have under our accessories, a lot of the similar accessories you'll get on a Windows system. We have a calculator, maps, disk. Hey, I'm an author, man. I love the calculator or the character map. I mean, that's just the good stuff. So anyway, and I'm a geek. I actually do use it. So we have Redshift. We have USB stick writers, which is good. We have drawing applications. We have Firefox, HexChat, Thunderbird, Transmission. We do have the full LibreOffice suite there, Celluloid, Rhythm Box. So definitely more things. Some people might suggest that this is potentially even bloatware, but at the same token, it's not a lot of systems. And these two, I didn't pull up the system monitor in the other one, but they do run. They run at about equivalent speeds. They run at about equivalent memory usage. Now, one of the major advantages in Linux Mint, if you happen to want to have more controls over your colors and design, is the theming is definitely better in Linux Mint. You have basically what you're doing here is choosing between a light theme and a dark theme on a variety of different colors. So you can choose your more skeuomorphic type looks with your X series or your more material design with your Y series across various colors in a light or a dark background setting. So you have a lot of those options there as well. If you want to do something else, you can very easily add themes over here. We're not going to update the cache, but push this button. you're going to see a listing of new themes and settings. You do have a lot more system control options inside of Linux Mint. Most of the other tools and options inside this control panel are also all going to be inside of PopOS. It's just going to be, these ones here, it's just organized a little bit differently. PopOS does support those firmware tools, which Linux Mint does not specifically have those. All right, installing software. I do like the software manager in Linux Mint better. It will, first time you load it, it does take a little bit longer to boot up. So here, I just like it. It's not as beautiful and flashy, but I do find it very easy, very functional. We also have, like PopOS, there's no snap support, but this does have Flatpak support. And if you click this button here, you're going to be able to see what all of the Flatpaks are that are on the system. Also, if we search for something like, for example, GIMP, you'll see that there's going to be two options to install for GIMP. Well, two major options that are the actual application. One of these is actually going to be a Flatpak, which is going to be the latest version, and one of these is actually going to be from the repository. This one is an older version from the repository, and there is a Flatpak version around here somewhere as well. Usually it's a lot easier to spot. Where'd it go? It might be on the screen and I just don't see it too. Half of you guys are sitting there going, it's right there, stupid, it's right there. They moved it to the very bottom. I'm not sure why it's on the very bottom, but this is actually going to be the latest version of GIMP 2.10 from a Flatpak. So we get that with a lot of different applications. I guess GIMP's a bad example to show you just because of the sheer number of plugins available. Kdenlive, I think, should be a little bit easier to make my point here. So we have one of these is from the Flatpak. We have one of these is from the repository. So it makes it very easy to see which one you happen to be installing. Overall, the theme systems are going to work very well. Whether you have GTK or Qt applications, they're going to look very good, very consistent. And with this, you do have we have a lot more choices for backgrounds as well. If you are into changing things, moving your backgrounds around, you do have a lot of various choices inside of there, so you can do that. And I like the design, the layout, the UI of Cinnamon a lot better than GNOME. So I think overall, I personally would choose to go with your Linux Mint more than I would go with the PopOS, but there's very good, very valid reasons to use either one of them. I'm going to actually say it's kind of a tie. Which one wins is going to be subjective based upon your own personal desires, your own personal opinions, which one you would like to do or not like to do. So that's kind of my thought and my idea. Let me know your thought. Which one do you think is better, PopOS or Linux Mint? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Leave us a like, leave us some comments. And if you want to help support the channel, switchtolinux.com/support is a great place to go. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Was that really a 30-minute video? Wow. Time flies, man. I was having fun with that one. Alrighty, let's see. Thank you for that correction there, Farron. Alright, let's see. I'll get through as many of these comments as I can. What's up, kitty cat? You want to come up? You want to come up? Kitty's like, let me up. Come. Oh, come on, buddy. It's our kitty. Where's my kitty cam? There we are. Now we got a kitty cam. I got a fuzzy snake up here too. Woo. All right, let's see. Keep trying, not getting anywhere. Where are you going, man? I have a used late 2013. I think my MacBook Air is 2014, I think. Let's see. Rocking iPhone 11 Pro Max. Very cool. Hate to have to pay $35 for business VoIP. Ugh, that's ugly. One is in quarantine. All right, well, stay safe. They're in quarantine. I'm literally just making myself a dual boot with Arch. Cool. All right, let's see. It's 1 a.m. there. All right. No, it's not. It's only 7:40. Using Linux Mint forever. Started with Manjaro after using Linux Mint for a while. All right. Use Mint and Arch like the old. Hey, me too. Okay, still waiting for RedTube OS. All right. So with Red Hat Linux when it was free, maybe 4X. Nice, very cool. Is Snap bad? I do not like the model of Snap. So the biggest challenge that I have with Snap, now the theory behind them is very good. So Snap, Flatpaks, and app images, the theory behind them is very good. You have one packaged place where all of your dependencies, etc., like that, are all packaged all into the same place very well. And it makes it easy to update individual applications without running that. Now, I personally do not want my packages to update. Snaps can update automatically, and they do so by default, although I believe there's a way to stop it. The biggest challenge I have with Snaps, number one, they are all done and distributed on a proprietary central repository. And number two, according to Snapcraft, this is the company behind them, they are, quote, shifting their model from trusting the software to trusting the developer. We trust the developer, and so we do not have to audit the code. And then you go and see who are their trusted developers. We see wonderful people like, Microsoft and Spotify and Facebook and stuff. And I don't trust those developers. That's the problem. But that's where it gets into this philosophy with Ubuntu of do I want to have a system and have corporate money coming into everything and making it all about just everything working perfectly no matter what's going on in the background? Or do I want to have a free and open source system and do what I can with software that we can audit the code? And depending on where you fall into that camp's question will be determined whether Snap is good or bad. Now, Flatpak is like Snap, but it's more open. There's several places you can source them from. You can source them from FlatHub and numerous other repositories. And there's not this emphasis on trusting the developer instead of trusting the code itself. And so that's really where it comes down to. Like PopOS for being the sane version of Ubuntu. There you go. Hello, Lonnie. Is it Lonnie? Lanny? Lonnie? How's it going? Let's see. Hello, Christopher. Greetings. Okay. Cinnamon is so good. Windows 10 is the bleepy now. All right. We all know that Red Star OS is the clear winner. Of course, Red Star's OS the clear winner. Heard Farron OS is solid. Yes, Farron OS is very solid. Hate Ubiquity very much. The Helios PCs are way too expensive though. Yeah, I'm not. I have not tested any of the System 76 computers because, frankly, Linux works so well on hardware I can pick up at Best Buy for $500. I don't see why I would pay over $1,000. That's for whatever case you happen to take that. Ubuntu is the gold standard while the value of gold has dropped. Okay. Hey, Kitty, if you drop those on the floor, I'm not getting them for you. He's like, I'm going to get those kitty treats. Let's see. Like or dislike Ubuntu itself, you've got to appreciate how much it has brought the desktop Linux forward. Absolutely. I completely agree. Fedora may not be the best for an absolute beginner, but maybe. There's still some things with Fedora that you still need to figure out how to do some basic things that most people expect their computer to do for very good, rightful reasons. PopOS does take care of most of those, yes. Let's see. Yes, you should try Fedora sometime, though. It is good. Linux Mint is currently my number 2 distro. MX Linux is your main XFCE for gaming and Cinnamon for multiple audio input outputs. Very good. Liking Deepin a lot recently. There you go. Okay. Sure, Ubuntu made Linux tolerable, but today Ubuntu is just a good base to build a distro on. That might be good. Ubuntu has a new Deepin version. I just covered that one yesterday. If you did not have a look at my video on the Ubuntu DDE, go have a look at that one. Okay, let's see. Never heard of PopOS. PopOS is pretty good, actually. Hey, Kitty, are you stop messing with my camera? Kitty, you're messing with my camera over there. You're messing with my camera. I get really annoyed when people are too lazy to refer to it as PopOS. Oh man, did I mess it up? I'm sorry, Vince. STL is a total distro guru. I don't know. It depends on whom you ask. The developer for Mikulu called me a fool on my own comment the other day for not understanding his distro, so I banned him from my channel. Sorry. I'm sorry. I read your god-awful website a couple times. I actually felt over-prepared going into that distribution. But oh well, I guess I won't be looking at his distros anymore. Let's see. Never had freezes with Pop, but to be honest, I use GNOME on all distros. Never had freezes. Yeah, it seemed to be an issue with one package. I think it might have been a Bluetooth manager package. I think something went goofy somewhere on the install when it caused consistent Linux kernel panics. But I got it fixed. I was able to resolve it. What's up, Kitty? Kitty's like, pet me, pet me. On my MX machine that my kids use to play Super Tux. There you go. All right. Mint does have an OEM install option. Thank you. Yep. Yes, I did get that corrected in the video. Thank you for that, guys. I forgot about that. Recovery partition can only be accessed on System 76 machines as well, like the Intel ME stuff. And Mint also has an OEM option. Yep, we got that done. Let's see. My son wrecked the desktop. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I find such a settings in Cinnamon. Which setting you're looking for? I use a mix of Mint, Cinnamon, and Mate. PopOS 1910 basically has every feature Ubuntu 2004 has now. Need to get a Steam-compatible gamepad so I can play Road Redemption. Is that Red? I don't know. Road Redemption? I don't know. I'm not a gamer. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's see. Gamepad still moves the mouse. Very impressed with what System 76 accomplished so far. Yeah, they've accomplished a lot. It's very good. Okay, the Ubuntu-based version of Mint works better with my HP printer. Yes, that is going to generally be a case because Ubuntu-based distributions handle HP support better. People have removed Snap from Ubuntu Modern without breaking it. Heck, the only issue you might notice these days is removing that. It's starting with 2004, the original software. Yeah. Application removed since it's Snap, but easily replaced by its app package. Well, except for Chromium browser. Yeah, it's like you de-snapify your entire Ubuntu system, and then you're like, I need the Chromium web browser, and all it does is reinstalls Snap and installs this Chromium Snap pack. Whoops. I believe that's as of 1910, I think. Let's see. Cinnamon desktop and the controls crazy. Desktop interactions. Interesting. Made persistent drives like a computer I can take anywhere. Yes, very good, very good. Shall I use Pulse Audio? Sure, why not? Just run the Windows version of SNES 9X with Wine. There you go, that works. Okay, trying to figure out if I should install Linux Mint, Peppermint OS, PopOS on a laptop that I share with my siblings. If I was just mine, I'd probably go with PopOS or something. I'd probably do either Linux Mint or Peppermint OS, depending on the system resources you have. Okay. Mainly used for web browsing and consuming media than any of the above. Show your siblings and see which ones they gravitate towards. That's a good option, too. Vince, how dare you use logic, man? Yes. Show them all three options in a live key and have them all vote. Okay, let's see. Don't see the problem with System D. Yes, I don't see the problem with System D either. I have asked people, tell me why System D is a problem, and I don't get anything solid. PopOS store is the same as elementary. It might be. I don't know. I do think elementary has a good store, though. And try the Trinity desktop environment. I think I've looked at it before, but I can't remember it. All right, let's see. Oh dear, did I just push loaded about 1,000 more comments. Oh lordy. I may not get back all the comments, guys. My apologies for that. Hate gnome, but I'm okay with PopOS, yep. Pepper is most likely more stable, but Ubuntu-based OS is also very stable. Yeah, you're not going to go wrong with any of them, I don't think. I tried suckless DWM. I've not. Linux Mint feels old. I don't think it feels old, but you might. Oh, did they had them all the way back since then? I guess I haven't been paying attention. I'll have to go back and I'll see if I don't know if I still have a 17X laying around. I'll have to go back and have a look though if I do. See, Ubuntu versus Ubuntu. Which one's better? I don't know, man. I might get lost. No, it's not mature. My brother's Twitch stream. He labels his Twitch stream as I for immature. That's right. Let's see. What is Flatpak? Flatpak is one of the pre-packaged applications that they actually do run a little bit differently, I believe. I think it's Flatpak that will look at other Flatpaks. I can't remember all of the odds and ends. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to complete that sentence because I forget if it's what I'm talking about. But it's an individual way of packaging software. Love a video explaining auto app repositories versus Snap versus Flatpak. Where'd my mouse go over here? I want to look at the Discord feed too before I completely forget. Okay, good video. Got to roll out. All right, see ya, Tech. John's over there on Discord. Dollar Deal Tech is also on Discord. Greetings over there on the Discord server. Okay, one feature I love about PopOS is that you can do a refresh of the system without losing your data just by choosing that option. Yes. Doubt we'd ever call you stupid. It was foolish, I think, was the word used. I don't know. Told you Mint won the war. I left it as a subjective tie. I personally chose Mint, but I'm perfectly acceptable if you chose PopOS. Come on. All right, let's see. I have an old laptop whose hard drive died. I might get a new one and try Linux on it. Sadly, the screen also doesn't work. Well, screens on laptops are generally cheap and easy to fix. Usually like $20 to $40, and usually takes about 5-10 minutes to fix, depending on the type of screen it is. Okay, hello France, greetings. PopOS is the only OS that works for my HP Pavilion gaming, and you like it. Very good, awesome. Google Maps worked great on my 3700X, fast, responsive. Now the system crashes immediately. Fun. That's not good. Hello, Casper. Greetings. Be careful letting your cat around the computer. My dog bought several things from Amazon and charged them to my account. Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, I mean, around here, you really have to worry if you happen to have an Amazon Alexa because, hey, Alexa, order unicorn meat. Confirm. All right. Just had to clear that up. I don't think any Linux distro is better for programming or not. A shout out and prayers for YouTuber Nixie Pixel on top of other health problems. She now has COVID-19. That is not good. That is not good at all. Yeah, if you get COVID-19 with another health problem, you're potentially in a world of trouble there. So, yes, prayers for her. Or is it him or her? I'm not familiar with that YouTuber. Don't trust those developers. Don't install the app. There you go. For me, only Flowblade video editor Snap started crashing after an automatic update. Yep. That's why of the three, I like app images the best because they're just completely separate independent systems. You can have multiple versions of them laying around. Okay, why did the shift away from app images happen? Seems far better than Flatpak and Snap. Honestly, I don't know exactly. Yeah, for verification, head on over to Snapcraft's website, and it was May. I forget the exact date, but it was like a middle May. It might have been middle May 2018 or so when malware was found in a Snap package. They have a blog post where they specifically talk about the shift in trusting the developers and stuff. And so that's really the place where you want to go to look up for that information. It's actually linked in a few of my videos. If you look at my video about the problem with Snap, I referenced that article, so you can find the date from that. I don't trust those companies. Because if you're like, Microsoft's changed, they love Linux now. They would love to kill Linux. I mean, yeah. I got a news for you. Embrace, extend, extinguish didn't happen in 1 year. Tickle the cat for me, please. The cat ran away. Sorry. I'll get him back though. I have cat calls over here. They're called kitty treats. Supply chain is interrupted. All right, gotta clap the stream. All right, see you, LibreQuest. One would ever consider a shame watching this with your cat. All right. Oh, Matthew's kitty. Oh, Matthew's kitty. Oh, God, I think I hear pitter patter. I might have to feed the cat now. A dude should never respond that way. That's the thing, you give me good constructive feedback or, clarify or correct something, but you want to call me a fool on a video that I just did about your distribution where legitimately there were issues with it and legitimately some concerns. The same thing I do with every distro. I'm sorry, but you just demonstrated to me a small person. Yeah, I believe it was fool, I believe was what he said. A few times, a few different comments. Yeah. Okay, wouldn't even care about it, to be honest. If someone says that about me, it shows much more. Well, that's the thing is I don't really care, but I'm not going to let somebody who wants to do that hang around on my comment thread either. Okay? Free speech does not give you permission to write your profanity on my bathroom wall. You know? For whatever that's worth. Okay, red lights are better distributed on the Windows. Well, you know, I don't run Windows, so we'll see how it looks when I have a strip of green lights above them. Installed Pizza's new ice store. Nice. Awesome. It's the best Linux for road warriors. Endless OS. You can get that 12 gigabyte download offline version that has like Stack Overflow and Wikipedia and all sorts of stuff already downloaded onto it. Core guide with Mint. When trying it on VMs, I haven't found a way to change the title bar colors of Windows. Something about them being the same. Huh, interesting. All right, let's see. Say Makulu wasn't terrible, but the dev being hostile makes... Yeah, that's, you know... You can still see the artifacts where people were responding around his comments, you know. But I was just like, you know what? You want the cat. Uh-oh. Hello, Tom. Who won? I called it a tie. Who's my brother? Tim. He runs a indie game company called Mavis Games. They're working on a I don't even know all the terminology for video games. That's how lame I am in the video game department. One of the fun open worldy type games called Entrea Chronicles. So he streams Twitch TV / Mavis Games. I wonder if he's streaming now. Probably not. He was streaming this afternoon. Okay, give me your cat. I don't want to give you my cat. I want my cat here, man. My cat stays with me, man. About replacing the screen on a Dell XPS model. Yeah, I'd have to look that one up. Made it back. All right. Sparky Linux is fantastic. Yeah. Try the XFE file manager. I don't think I have. Actually cracked your phone screen. No! All right, we'll see you, Libra Request. Now, Distro's creator you banned from the channel. I completely missed that. There's Makulu. And lights look perfect. Very good. Thank you. Well, I'll when I get the chance, I'll put the green strip up there as well. I wonder how much power they've used. They're actually, let me check that real quick. Apparently, those lights don't use any power at all. I actually have those plugged into my one of my solar batteries, and the solar battery's still sitting there at 100%. So apparently they have not even phased the energy consumption in the battery yet. I'm running those off of solar batteries. Okay, let's see. Sister's working on a game. Very cool. I had actual balls to present the side of him consistently, unlike certain other distribution developer of a popular-ish Ubuntu-based distro. At least that guy had, yeah. Do a Zoom versus some other good open source alternatives. Somebody else actually asked me for a video like that today as well. That's 2 people asked me for that. So I think I probably will start looking into that. What was the verdict on Mint versus PopOS? I'm calling it a tie. Use whichever one matches your desires the most. Okay. Is that the one that attempted a really buggy Windows-looking Linux distro? Yeah, it's called Windows, I believe. Let's go ahead and feed the kitty, and we'll take any final comments and get out of here. Oh boy, kitty. Come on. Come on, buddy. Oh boy, kitty. Come on. Come on. Come on. Jump. Whoa. He he's such a fat cat. He jumped and almost fell. You're so funny. You're so funny and fat. You are fat and funny. All right, let's go ahead and feed this beast. Give me my mouse pad so you don't slobber all over it. He slobbered all over my mouse pad once when I was feeding him. Give us some paw, kitty. Give us some paw. Give us some paw. Oh, get it. Get it. Hey, dummy, there's one right in front of you. There you go. Here you go. And we'll do one more for this camera right here. Thank you for not biting my finger today. All right. This is good. Oh, Houston. Houston, we got a double catter. Houston, we got a double catter. Hey, kitty, you've already had your 3. Let the other kitty have some. The other cats down here are like, dude. Nope, that's it, buddy. That's it. Your sister ran off. That's fine. She gets more real people food anyway, so it's all good. All right. Final thoughts. Let's see. Zen installer or Archbang review. If I think of it. To attempt refurbishing the Dell XPS. Yeah, their screens are generally pretty easy to fix, depending on which one it is, though. Although I haven't seen a Dell XPS, so not sure. Okay, can't blame the user for having a good distro problem. You need, yeah, well. Am I late? Who won? I called it a tie. Cat said, give me some food, who man? Opinion about Archbang. I think I looked at Archbang once, but I can't remember off the top to give an opinion. Fortunately, Debian developers chose to continue development in US that require paying for a license. Oh, really? An email I can contact you. Go to switchedtolinux.com/contact. Oh yeah, Ubuntu DDE. You need to tackle that thing with a can of Raid. Yes. Well, apparently the red lights turned off at some point in time. Not sure why that happened, but we'll figure it out later. Anyway, we will hang out. We'll stop here, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 o'clock p.m. for a supporter stream. And then we will do Friday with the news. And with that, we will catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out.